Here I'm going to talk about hypothesis testing terms. That is, all this is very formal and they have formal names. And let's introduce these definitions so you know the language. So for the purposes of this class, a hypothesis is just a numeric statement about the mean. So we're going to make statements like mu is equal to 10. We'll say mu is less than or equal to 15, say. Or we might say mu is greater or equal to 27.2, where the right-hand side is any kind of number, and you're just making some kind of numeric inequality statement about the mean. The null hypothesis is the statement that you would like to disprove. So you would like to show that it's false. The statement you would like to show it's false. So for example, in the motivation thing, we were talking about the website being, the claim was that mu is less than or equal to 1. That was in the motivation. This is often written with h underscript naught for h, or underscore 0 pronounced naught, so h naught. The alternative hypothesis is just the opposite of the null hypothesis. And by opposite, I mean the logical negation of the null hypothesis. What it looks like for this example, and the notation is h underscore 1. So if we take the opposite of mu is less than or equal to 1, it must be mu is strictly greater than 1. So this is the alternative hypothesis. You just negate it. So you show that the null is highly improbable and therefore unlikely, and that forces you to reject the null hypothesis. So once you have the null hypothesis and the alternative, you can compute a p-value. So what this is a single numeric measure. It's between 0 and 1. And it measures the plausibility of h naught. And if it's close to 0, then you conclude that h naught seems less plausible. So you have to reject the null hypothesis and go with the alternative hypothesis. And this is an important phrase, rejecting the null hypothesis. And it just means to show that h naught, the null hypothesis, is unlikely.